Hi, so today we are visiting the island countries. What does that mean? Well, there are hundreds of islands all over the world, and some are their own country and some aren't. We're going to jump around the world and show you several islands. Of course, their names have to start with A all the way through Z. And for some of these letters, it's an easy fit to find a country or an island that starts with these letters. But for some of them, it's kind of a stretch. So you'll see what I mean in a little moment. But as we go through the alphabet and explore islands around the world, pay attention to which ones you already know and which ones are new. Okay, let's go ahead and start. We're going to start with the letter A. And I bet you've already heard of this one. A is for Antarctica. Antarctica is a continent and the third largest landmass on Earth, almost twice the size of Australia. And Australia is huge. It is considered a polar desert because it has such little rain. So when you look at these pictures, do you think of it as a desert? It's a little bit of a different type of desert, right? So that was A. B is for Bahrain. Bahrain has 33 islands and it lies in a bay between Qatar and Saudi Arabia. People can only live on about 3% of its land because it is mostly desert. Now, this is what we tend to think of when we think of desert, right? Do you see the camel with the sand? And if you can take a look at the map, that's where Bahrain is located, right here. There's a little red dot. Okay. C is for a destination a little closer to home. C is for Cuba. And on the map, you can see it's just underneath Florida. This is Cuba. And Cuba is the largest island in the Caribbean Sea. It is often referred to in Spanish as El Cocodrilo. I said that wrong. El Cocodrillo. Something like that, okay? Basically, they're trying to say crocodile in Spanish because it resembles a crocodile from up above. Let's take a look at that map again. Do you see how it kind of looks like it's the shape of a crocodile? A little bit. Yeah. D is right next door to it. It is for the Dominican Republic. Now, we were looking right over here, and now it's that dark spot. Okay? So the Dominican Republic shares an island in the Caribbean Sea with Haiti. So the island is divided into two portions or two parts. The Dominican's on one side, Haiti's on the other. And the Dominican has a gravity hill on which locals claim that cars can roll uphill on their own. Wouldn't you like to explore that? Yeah. So E is for, now you may not have heard of this one, East Timor. Here's some pictures. And this is Australia, and it's located just above Australia. It's in that circle, okay? East Timor shares an island with Indonesia in the Indian Ocean. Some people live in traditional houses, like right here. They're built on tall wooden huts that are supported by stilts. And then F is for Fiji. This picture's for Fiji, and let's zoom in. Here's Australia. We're going to spend a lot of time on all of these islands across in this area. And it looks like it's just out in the middle of the ocean, and it kind of is. So Fiji has over 300 islands in the Pacific Ocean. Fijian people are rated as the happiest in the world. With big smiles. Can you show me a big smile? In Fiji, you can stand with one foot in today and the other foot in yesterday or tomorrow, because that's where the time zone kind of divides between today and yesterday, or today and tomorrow, right? Kind of neat over there. Move on to G. G, can you think of a big place that starts with the G? How about Greenland? So Greenland is not a country, but it is the largest island in the world that is not a continent. Its ice sheet is so heavy that the center of Greenland is lower than the sides, so it kind of dips down in the center. And you can see some photos from Greenland. And this is where it's located. So I know the world's kind of tilted, right? If we tilt it, you can kind of see, let's go this way, like the US and Canada, and then over here is Europe. So it's way up toward the top of the globe. Okay. And then H, we've already mentioned this as part of the Dominican. Do you remember the name? H is for Haiti. Haiti is the island neighbor of the Dominican Republic. It is a mountainous country with warm tropical weather, and it's home to a tiny frog that is no bigger than a green grape when it is fully grown. That's kind of neat. Here's some beautiful pictures of Haiti. This has one of my favorite pictures here. So I is for Indonesia. And the first thing you're going to see is this crazy looking animal with a big smile. And I think that is a really neat photo in this book. But Indonesia, so let's take a look at the map. Here's Australia and all of these red dots, right? That's all highlighted with Indonesia. So it's made up of a lot of different islands. Let's learn a little bit more about it. How many islands did you think? Did you already see the number? Okay, so Indonesia has 17,000 islands, and it sits between the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. It has mountains, jungles, beaches, and volcanoes. And Indonesia is home to the world's largest lizard, the Komodo dragon. Then we go to J. J is a little closer to home. J is for Jamaica. Let's zoom in on the map. So we had Cuba, we had Haiti, we have the Dominican, and just underneath of Cuba is Jamaica. Okay, here's some photos of Jamaica. Sunrise or sunset. Jamaica is an island in the Caribbean Sea. It harvests many crops that help make popular food. It has cocoa, sugar, coconuts, bananas. The fastest sprinter in the world is Jamaican. Usain Bolt. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, fastest sprinter in the world. All right, K. Ooh, K is a little bit, I actually had to figure out how to say this because I had never heard of K. So let's take a look at the pictures. Quite a few animals, and it has several different islands out here that are highlighted. And do you know how to say this? I believe it is Kiribati instead of Bati. I think it's Kiribati. That might be right. But Kiribati is one of the smallest island countries. It consists of 32 atolls. An atoll is a ring of coral that's created by an underwater volcano, which eventually comes out of the water and it forms an island. Okay, so 32 of those form this up here. And then L is for Sri Lanka. Here's Sri Lanka. Go all the way off at the tip of India. That's where we're looking at, okay? This right here is India, and that's where Sri Lanka is. So Sri Lanka is an island in the Indian Ocean. It has a spectacular wildlife, including elephants and leopards, and even a snake that can glide through the air. That's kind of scary. It is called the Sri Lankan flying snake. Yikes. I don't want to see that. Just saying. Don't want to see that in person, put it that way. If I had a snake come flying up the air, I am pretty sure I would scream pretty loud, wouldn't you? Yeah. All right, M. M is for Madagascar. Have you seen the movie? So Madagascar, we look here, well, that's Africa. It's a big island off the coast of Africa. Okay. And Madagascar lies off the east coast of Africa in the Indian Ocean, and it is the fourth largest island in the world. It is home to lemurs, geckos, and chameleons. Beautiful photos there. N is for Papua New Guinea. Okay. Now, this is located, again, here's Australia, right off the top part of this tip of Australia. You see where it's red? Some beautiful photos, lots of animals, landscape. And it says Papua New Guinea is located in the southwestern Pacific Ocean. Its animals, such as the tree kangaroo, can be similar to Australia's because they were once connected by a land bridge that is now underwater. Let's go back to the map. Do you see where the top part of Australia almost touches where it's red? So there is a landmass there that is now underwater. So a lot of their animals are the same. O. O is for, it's not a country. Can you think of an island, a city, and an island out in Hawaii? Oahu. O is for Oahu. Again, beautiful photos. Of course, you think of the beach, you might think of the volcanoes, it has this amazing landscape. So O is for Oahu. It is the capital of Hawaii, which is part of the US. It is home to the hula dance and also the wettest place on earth. Yeah, kind of crazy, huh? Oh, so P is for the Philippines. Now that is, let's go back to the map, Australia, here's China, and it's kind of like right in the northern part of this cluster of a bunch of islands, right? Right here, Philippines. So the Philippines is in, I sometimes say this wrong, archipelago, there you go. The Philippines is an archipelago in the Western Pacific Ocean. An archipelago is a string of islands. The Philippines has 17,000 hills, which turn brown in the dry season. And during that season, they're called the chocolate hills. Do you see why they're called the chocolate hills? Don't they look like little globs of chocolate? Oh, yeah. So that was P. Let's go on to Q. Now, how many islands do you think we can find with Q? Not that many. So this one's a little tricky. They chose a word instead. Q is for quiet. But they're going to talk about North Sentinel Island. It is a small, non-country island in the Bay of Bengal, and it is quiet because its people remain undisturbed by the rest of the world. Now, this map is a little bit different. Here's India, and they have it highlighted right here. So that is a quiet island. That's what they call the most quiet island in the world. Okay, North Sentinel Island. R, again, a little bit tricky. Did you know that Ireland is an island? With Northern Ireland and Ireland. So they're going to say R is for the Republic of Ireland. And I bet you could find that on a map. Here's Europe. Here's Great Britain, and then right there, that dot is Ireland and Northern Ireland. And of course, these beautiful photos of some castles and some animals, and of course, the landscape of the Cliffs of Moher. So we have the Republic of Ireland shares the island of Ireland with Northern Ireland. There's Northern Ireland and Ireland, okay? And it sits between the Atlantic Ocean and the Irish Sea. It is the 20th largest island in the world, and Ireland is famous for its castles and lush greenery. S is for Samoa. Some of these awesome photos. And Samoa is out kind of off in the middle of nowhere. Again, a lot of different islands out here. So Samoa is a country in the Pacific Ocean that moved from east to west of the international date line in 2011. So you have that line that divides yesterday from today, or today from tomorrow, right? And it used to be on one side, now it's on the other. Back in 2011, they switched where that line's located. So Samoa skipped a full Friday when that change happened. They lost a day. Kind of crazy, huh? And then T is for Tonga, also close to Samoa. See this? Right out there. And some amazing photos of some whales there. So Tonga is an archipelago in the Pacific Ocean. It doesn't have many native animals or plants because the island arose from the sea. So again, it was created from down below and it came out of the water to form an island. So some animals were able to fly there, like the flying fox and the pigeon, because they came from some of the other islands that were around it. Okay, that was T. Let's go to U. these start to get a little bit tricky as far as naming them. So let's talk about the United Kingdom. We're talking about England and Scotland and Wales, right? So the United Kingdom, here's some photos, some animals. And of course, it's right here, right off the top part of Europe. The United Kingdom includes the island of Great Britain and part of the island of Ireland. Great Britain is the 9th largest island in the world. Nowhere in the UK is more than 75 miles from the sea. So it's really a very narrow island. And so no matter where you're standing on land, you're no further from sea than 75 miles. Kind of neat, huh? B, this one's new. I did not know about this one, is Vanuatu. Vanuatu, I think. V is for Vanuatu. Again, it's one of these islands off the coast of Australia. So Vanuatu is an archipelago in the southern Pacific Ocean. It is home to the most active volcano on Earth, and it has beautiful blue lagoons. X and W, they put them together. And it's hard to find islands that start with an X and maybe even a W. So what they did, there's 2 pages here of lots of photos. It's for extreme weather. Take a look at some of these pictures. What do you think's going on there? Big hurricane, like a tornado over the water. I think that's called a water spout. Look at that. Major lightning, huge waves. You can see the wind hitting the palm trees. So extreme weather definitely happens when you're on islands, right? So island countries can be exposed to harsh weather like thunderstorms, tidal waves, and hurricanes. But there's also plenty of sunshine. So don't let this photo scare you. But it is true. You get extreme weather almost anywhere you go, right? So we're up to Y. Y is for, oh, this one's a stretch too. This one's a stretch. We're going to talk about Iceland. How does that fit as a Y? Because we're going to talk about it's young. I did not make this up. Okay. So Iceland is an island in the Atlantic Ocean near the Arctic Circle. It is one of the youngest land masses on Earth. There you go. That's why it's young. It is covered by ice, volcanoes, and glaciers. Despite this, it produces some of the world's strongest people. So this island, here is Greenland, that big chunk right here, and Iceland is right off of it, and it actually has more people that live there. Okay, look at some of those amazing landscapes, animals, and remember, it's one of the youngest landmass. And finally, we are at Z, and this is for a real place. It's New Zealand. So Z is for New Zealand. If you're not sure where that's at, here's Australia, and then the big islands right off to the side, you do have New Zealand, and it's divided into 2 islands. So New Zealand has 2 main islands in the Pacific Ocean. It is home to the kiwi, a bird that cannot fly. New Zealand has the highest percentage of animals to people in the world. So of course, in these photos, you're going to see a lot of different animals here. So highest percentage of animals to people in the world. And guess what? That is our tour of just some of the islands around the world. Thanks for taking the trip today. I'm Cassie, and next week our adventure goes over to Europe, to Spain. We're going to get to practice some of our Spanish again, and we will see you there. Bye.